sometimes we put others ahead of ourselves. And when we put others ahead of ourselves, we don't take care of us. And when we don't take care of us, we don't live the lives that we want to live. So keep watching this video to see if you are maybe taking on a role that you need to get rid of. So I'm on to part 2 of my holiday dysfunctional family series. I don't remember what I called it, but we're going to go with that. And it's talking about the caregiver or hero. When you're looking at family systems and you're looking at the roles that each person plays within the family, the caregiver and the hero are usually 2 separate roles. But one of the things that I notice is that usually when you look at the family, the caregiver and the hero are intertwined with each other. What happens is that hero is the one that tries to make the family look good, who makes it so nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors. And the caretaker kind of does the same thing. And they do that by taking care of the family, making sure everybody looks good, making sure everybody's fed, making sure everything's in order. And so to the outside, everybody looks great and the family looks great, which means that both of those roles kind of intertwine with each other. And so I decided in talking about the family roles that I would put those 2 together. And so you may lean a little bit more towards the hero side or a little bit more towards the caretaker side, but the behaviors that you take on as an adult tend to be the same whether you're a caregiver or a hero. So we're going to go a little bit further into discussing those roles and how it looks in different areas of your life. So if you remember, or if you watched the video about the lost child, you remember that the lost child is more of the invisible one, where the caretaker, caregiver, hero, whatever name I decided to throw out for them in the moment, they're not the invisible ones. They're the ones who excelled in school. They made good grades. They didn't have any disciplinary problems. This was the overachiever. They were the ones who had their stuff together. And as an adult, they carried those same kind of traits with them. But what happens is that the caregiver starts to take on way too much. And in doing that, it increases their anxiety levels and they're unable to handle the stress. And so they start to retreat. They withdraw from situations that they're faced with. They don't like having family gatherings because it always comes out to what can you do for me versus what can others do for them. In the work setting, the caregiver is one of the people who usually advances quickly in their career. They're able to establish connections with others really well. They're probably a very social person. You'll find them in the morning catching up with everybody, chatting at the coffee pot, and after work you'll find them at happy hour being social, and they don't have a problem with being able to build themselves up. But what happens a lot of times is that people start to lean too much on them. So although they're doing well at work, they're usually overwhelmed at work also. People put a lot of responsibilities on them and they just don't have that ability to say, no, I can't do it. It's too much. Because that would go against their overachieving personality. In relationships, the caretaker, caregiver, hero is a tricky person. On one end, they're really loving, they're really caring, they take care of their partner, but on the other end, they can put their partner in a position of feeling like a child. And so they don't allow their partner to be the person that they are. Or they seek out partners that they have to take care of because it falls in line with what they're so used to doing. And so they pick out these men and say, not knowing and not realizing it up front, that I'm going to have to take care of them. And then they get upset because they're having to take care of them. And so the caretaker, the caregiver, they unknowingly seek out people they have to take care of, which adds to their stress. They're taking care of people in their family life, they're taking care of people at work, and now they're continuing to do these behaviors in their relationships. When we look at friends and family of caretakers, caregivers, we find that same dynamic that was talked about with relationships that caregivers have. So a caregiver with friends, with family, they're going to continue to take care of them, putting their needs in front of theirs. And instead of getting the same support back, they usually are left alone to deal with their own problems. And so they are the ones who provide a lot of support to others, but they don't get that support back. And of course, that can be a stressful situation. It can have them feeling alone, and loneliness can lead to depression and anxiety and things like that. And so a caregiver will try to distance themselves from their family and the friends that are toxic to them, but it's hard to do so because they still have that role within them to take care of them. And so they feel guilt when they are telling their friends or family that they can't do something, when in reality they know they probably do have the ability to do it, but they're just trying to do something for themselves first. And so even though the caregiver is usually surrounded by a lot of people, they often are the ones who you hear say things like, there's a lot of people around me, but I feel so alone, because nobody is taking care of them in the way that they take care of others. So the caregiver has to be able to address what they're going through with people in different ways, whether it be at work or with family and friends, or in the relationship status. And so if you would like to learn more about how the caregiver can push past their caregiver tendencies, the blog post is linked below. You can also go to my website, and it talks a little bit more in depth about what you need to do as a caregiver to kind of break away from those toxic situations that you're in. If watching this video and reading the blog post doesn't help you, if you need some help with being able to actually apply the techniques that I talk about in the blog post, then feel free to contact me and schedule yourself a free 15-minute consultation so we can start the process of being able to really explore how you can go about focusing more on yourself, giving care to yourself instead of always giving it to others.